what about, like, I live in New York City, and sometimes, it's grumpy land, and everybody's rushing and crossing, and sometimes I really want to strangulate a couple people on the street. And I'm really good at sometimes connect to my vortex with my inner being, but there is a moment when I don't want to get disconnect because other outside things.
But you see what's happening here, and we really appreciate this conversation because you're taking it right out there to the leading edge, and you're doing what so many people do. You're wanting to control this moment, and it's too late. You control the future manifestation by previous energy alignment. You feel more satisfaction, and then you have less of those kinds of experiences. So they become fewer and fewer. You don't get yourself in the middle of something that is really unpleasant and then try to will it into something that is pleasant. That's trying too hard, and it just doesn't work.
So I remember one day you were saying in a video something like you was feeling the appreciation, like for a frog, like the frog doesn't let you sleep, but it's still like your special frog. So, but you did that in, like, you are saying to me, it would be good to do these kind of things a day before, like predicting, oh, tomorrow I'm going to have a beautiful day. And
here's what happens. So your vortex already exists, and everything you want is in it, even things you cannot right now articulate. All that freedom you're talking about, all that greater capacity to explore your planet, everything that you've been wanting is there in vivid form. So as you, for example, find 15 or 20 minutes in the morning to meditate, and you really do quiet your mind, and you accomplish that detachment, and your vibration rises, and you feel some satisfaction, and there's no writing on the wall, there's no clouds that part and things that drop in, there's no words that are shouted in your ear, there's nothing really very monumental that happens. You just had a pleasant time near or from the middle to the end of your 15 or 20 minute meditation. And so you adjusted your vibrational characteristics, your vibrational habits, your vibrational atmosphere was improved just a little bit by that 15 minutes today. And tomorrow improved a little more, and the next day improved a little more. And it doesn't take too many of those quieted minds allowing vibration to rise vibrations to actually affect your point of attraction in a way that things just show up better. The contradiction that sometimes you hear from us is that we want you to soothe your energy so that you can get more manifestations in moment in time that are pleasing. And at the same time, we don't want you to need pleasing moment in times in order to be pleased. So it sounds like a contradiction, but it isn't. So when you're in the middle of a not pleasing moment, that's really the most ineffective time to try to turn it around. Sometimes you can be so good at it that you can switch your mind like that, but usually the harder you try, the worse it gets. And so just give in to it and let it be whatever it is and laugh about it and say, I did that. This is a byproduct of what I've got going on, and that's about right. That's a pretty good vibrational match to how I was feeling, and just live with that. Let that be. But then meditate again in the morning and the next day and the next day. You won't be able to help it. You'll begin to deliberately, or at least consciously, whether you think you're doing it on purpose or not, you're going to begin to notice improvements. So much so that you may be on an airplane like Esther was, actually noticing how satisfied she was on an airplane. Confined space, restless children, stuff going on, somebody sneezing, somebody coughing, this happening, people talking to each other, all kinds of things going on, lots going on an airplane. And Esther was sitting there in utter satisfaction that might have even seemed illogical to someone who wasn't as determined as Esther is to find satisfaction. And then in her satisfaction, it was enhanced by something really obvious that was unmistakable. Esther couldn't miss that. She knew for sure that this was an enhancement of her satisfaction based upon how satisfied she was. And that's really the point that we're wanting to make to you. The better it gets, 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 which makes you think, okay, give it to me now, and then it'll be good, and then it can get better. No, that's not what we said. You got to be satisfied even without a good reason. That's what we're saying. You got to find a reason to find satisfaction. You got to sift until you feel it. And oh, there are so many reasons to feel so much satisfaction. Just count your blessings like those in religions tell you. Count your blessings. There are so many of them. Unless counting a blessing makes you not feel good. Maybe there's a blessing that you're counting that you don't feel so good about. Well, then don't count that one. Don't activate that one. You've got to feel your own way through it, you see.
So Esther was like counting her blessings while she was on the plane, saying like, I'm thankful for the plane, or...
She wasn't doing that. She was just sitting there in complete satisfaction. She was comfortable. She was comfortable, and she was happy that she was coming to see you. Everything felt good. She was happy moving through the airport. She was happy in the Delta Lounge. She was happy with the soup she ate. She was just happy. Now, were the conditions conducive to it? Maybe, but you got to look for them in an airport, don't you? But was she looking for them, or is she just tuned to them? This is the powerful leading edge clarifying discussion that we're having here together. Are you looking for it and trying to convince yourself that that's a reason to be happy? Or have you tuned yourself and that just causes you to feel happy? It's the tuning and then the recognition, the tuning and then the recognition. And this is why we say to you, when you stop doing that thing you're doing that's keeping you from it, then you'll find it, and then you're seeing the world through the eyes of Source. And when you see the world through the eyes of Source, you're satisfied. And you know why? Because you and Source are the same thing in that moment. And think about what that means in light of what we've talked about here today. When you and Source are in the same vibrational frequency, that means there's no contradiction. That's what we mean when we say being in alignment. Your leverage, you're millions of times more powerful than when you're not. One who's in alignment with Source energy is millions of times more powerful and influential and attractive than one who is not, because it's only you that can defeat your own. See how it all ties together? So the more you look for reasons to feel satisfied, the more you find them, or the more moments you catch yourself being satisfied. And that's really a better way of going about it. Oh, I'm satisfied. And then don't work too hard at trying to figure out why you might talk yourself out of it. Go forth and tell no one. Just feel the satisfaction and let law of attraction bring more of it and more of it and more of it and more of it. One of the things that we really want you to hear, all of you, is that any idea of getting everything that you want is a flawed premise, because your perspective keeps changing and your ability to attract keeps changing. So, for example, you're standing and there are contrasting experiences. Know what you don't want, know what you do want. You put it in the vortex, you line up with it, and then you receive it. You receive it fully. It's manifested. It's in your life. You got the job. You got the part. You got the money. You got the guy. You got whatever it is. So you're standing there in that satisfaction for a moment. But you also, with this satisfying creation that has come, you also now have access to a whole other set of contrasting experiences, because now you're in a new place. And this new vibrational place, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. You line up with it, you become it. Are you satisfied forever? No, just for a moment. Because now there's another set of contrasting experiences. You're set up for eternal pleasure. You're set up for eternal new satisfaction. You're set up to live happily ever after, not someday when my lifelong dream comes true.
And when I'm going to have the eternal satisfaction?
Say again?
When I'm going to have the eternal satisfaction?
Well, there is only now. I'm going to get over there then. Oh, wait, there's only now. There is only now. So here it is. There it went again. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Now. But I want to be eternally satisfied. Now. There's only now. There's only now. Your capacity to rendezvous with your Source is only now. There isn't anything later. There's only now, because when you get over there to where the new is, it'll be now again. It's all happening now. It is all happening now. And if you're awake, you have the ability to find a reason to feel satisfied now. So then after a while, what happens to you is you just know that it's always going to be good. You stop worrying about what am I going to do later. I'm just going to feel good like now, only it'll be with different things. And it'll be bigger, more exciting things, because you can't stand still. There's no regression and there's no standing still. Life is not set up that way. You can't avoid expansion, but you can hold back and not go, in which case you feel sucky. Or you could go, in which case you feel wonderful. Did we get it all?
In a perfect way.
We got it all.
Thank you so much.
Really good. Really good. Really good. Did get it all. We did get it all.